Hey guys, what is up? Spectre here, and I hadn't done a casual Friday in a while, so I figured I would do another. I know it is Saturday. I put out a video today, well, if you're watching this yesterday. I put out a video this Friday, which you should go check out, which is why I didn't want to do a double upload. I wanted to spread them out a little bit, so you're getting some casual Friday on a Saturday. It's fine. It's whatever. We're throwing it out the window. Why didn't I just post this on Friday and that other video on Saturday? I don't know. I'm not that smart. But yeah, so casual Friday, the day that I usually write scripts for all my stuff. I throw that out and I just ramble and play games. So I figured that I would talk to you guys about my first RPG. And I'm not playing it now. Skyrim was not my first RPG. My first RPG in this sense, like in this single player open world sense, was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And the reason that I say it that way is because when I was in like 4th grade, 4th and 5th grade, I played a metric shit ton of Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. And I was really good at it for like being young and stuff like that. I was like, you know how like 12-year-olds kick everyone's ass in Call of Duty? I was, you know, that young kid kicking everyone's ass in PvP in Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, or just doing bail runs every night, and you know, on all my characters and stuff like that. Like that was me in 4th and 5th grade.
Your feeble attempt to hide is insulting.
But yeah, but later on in high school, there was one summer where I was alone. I was living alone with my dad, and he worked every day, as people need to. And it was summer, so I wasn't in school, and I wasn't in summer school, so I had the house to myself. And I was actually grounded for something I did. I grew up in a strict Spanish household. It was probably something stupid, or I probably didn't do anything, but I was grounded. And my consoles were supposed to be taken away. They were supposed to be in my attic, actually. But I picked my favorite console, which at the time was the original Xbox. Are you trying to... I hate when they try to do that. The original Xbox. I can't say Xbox One. Thanks, Microsoft. The original Xbox, that big, you know, bulky, ugly thing. And I took it down from the attic. And I put it inside my dresser. That had my TV on top of it, and when I wasn't playing it, obviously, I'd put clothes over it, so when you pulled out the drawer, it just looked like a drawer with clothes in it. And I fed the wires out the back, and I only plugged them in to the back of the TV when it was in use, which was when my father was at work, because again, I was alone all day. One for good measure. I was alone all day, so basically, my dad would leave me $5 to $10 and be like, buy yourself lunch and just behave all day. I don't know what he thought I was doing. Oh, shit. Great. I don't know what he thought I was doing, but what I would do was I would eat whatever was in the house. I'd raid, you know, the kitchen and save my money. And I'd save up for like a few days. And then I would ride my bike, because I wasn't old enough to drive, obviously. I'd ride my bike about 45 minutes away to the closest game store, which was a Game Crazy, which I feel like only people who live out in the sticks know what that is, even though I lived in the suburbs. I didn't live anywhere, you know, super crazy, isolated and rural, but I feel like they're only in weird places now. So I would go there, and I would just raid the used game, you know, bin. Oh shit. Behind you! So, oh shit. I'm not a good friend. Oh, where did I hit you? I'm weird. I like seeing where I nailed people, but I can't really tell with this guy. Alright, anyway. I would raid the used bin box. The used game bin. Whatever. Anyway. And there was Elder Scrolls Morrowind, and I remember I forgot what 2 games I was holding in my hand. I was like, should I get this one or should I get Elder Scrolls? Because I had remembered seeing an article about Elder Scrolls in a gaming magazine, when those were big and cool, and that's what I wanted to do at one point. Like, remember when you used to get demo discs in magazines? Like, I miss that shit. But anyway, I had seen an article about it, and I was like, that game looks cool, whatever, but I never got it. So I decided to get that one, even though it was a more expensive one. I rode home, and I remember that ride felt like it took for fucking ever. And what I would do was, if I did have some money left over, I'd buy dumb stuff. Like, I'd buy, let me take that so I could disenchant it. I would buy, like, a block of, I was such a teenager, I would buy, like, a block of mozzarella cheese or something, and eat that, or, like, a can of, like, a huge bag of chips, or, like, a can of whipped cream, and just sit there just downing whipped cream and playing video games, which is, like, any teenager's dream. If they're being left home alone and they have no social life, like I did at that point in my life. So that's what I did, and I would just play Elder Scrolls, and I remember just, like, the freedom of that game was incredible. Like, I had never played something like that before, where I could literally just do whatever I wanted. And it was just so cool. I remember I figured out that in that game you could train. You could pay people to train you, and you could do this on all the more updated ones, but I remember in Oblivion they set a cap where you can only train 5 times in a level, so that means you had to level up yourself for the rest of that level, but you could train with a trainer 5 times per level, and I hated that, because in Morrowind there was no cap, and what you could do basically was, there's 3 noble houses in Morrowind, and it's Hlaalu, Telvanni, and Redoran, I think. I don't know where I keep this information because I can't remember useful shit. But there's 3 noble houses, and in one of the biggest cities in that game, something close to the Imperial City or Windhelm, like in Skyrim, or the Imperial City like in Oblivion, they had one big city called Vivec, and they had 3 noble houses, and they each had banks and vaults in those banks, and I loved that, because what I would do was I would get my stealth and my lockpicking high enough to break into those banks and steal every fucking thing that they had. I would goad the guards into attacking me, because back then you could do that. There was like an insult option in the conversation with the guards, and you could insult them until they attacked you, which was not a crime. So I would goad them into attacking me, and I'd basically save before each fight, because sometimes they would just mob you and kill you. But if you got them to attack you and then beat them in combat, if you got them to attack you and then beat them in combat, they wouldn't mob you the way they do if you just straight up attack a guard. They never stop coming. They'll keep attacking you till you leave or kill, or just die. So I did it that way. I got them to fight me. I'd take out all the guards around the vault door, and I'd lockpick it, I'd get in there, and I'd steal everything. And there was, for some reason, a mud crab in the game who could talk and was a vendor, and he had more gold than everyone in the game, because, as everyone knows, in vanilla Elder Scrolls games, the merchants are pretty damn poor, and you kind of have to wait a long time or travel somewhere else to wait for them to restock on gold. So I would take everything to him, and for the most part, it got me enough money, and then I would just go to trainers, spend all that money, and max out my character. And this took maybe 6 hours, as opposed to, if you were doing it slow, it took 6 hours. It took about 4 on my 3rd character, but you could basically max out your character like this versus playing 70 hours or more, way more to max out your character, or to not max it out, because you can't really max them out, but to get them to that level. So I would just do that, and my character was just badass. I remember in Elder Scrolls 3 there was a spell called Levitate, and you could basically walk in the air across the entire game if you were so inclined. It was so game breaking, and it's why it's not in any of the newer ones, but it was so much fun just being able to just walk past everything. And I loved it. And what was cool was I would levitate, walk high above a city, and in that game they had the Morag Tong, which is a group of assassins from Morrowind, as opposed to the Dark Brotherhood. So I joined them, and they'd give you targets, and I would just walk up into the air with Levitate above everyone where they couldn't see me, and just snipe people with a bow. And it was so much fun. My character was so OP. What I would do was I would find someone who had a nice house that I liked, murder them, of course, and just bring all my belongings there. And this was before there was anything like player houses, like in Skyrim, how you have like the Hearthfire DLC. I almost had said Hearthstone. Hearthfire DLC, where you could build a house for yourself. This was before all that, and I wanted a space for myself, so I would kill the person. Sadly, that's how I had to get a place for myself. And I would just put my armor on all the tables. I'd collect crazy different kinds of armor, find the most OP items I could find in the game, and I would just display them there. And I sort of rolled like an evil character, so I put like skulls everywhere and red candles. It made it cool, and it was like a lair, but it was what I wanted to do. It seems stupid now that like you have mods that let you do this, and straight up they put it in the game, you know, like I said, with like the Hearthfire DLC, and even they're adding player housing to Elder Scrolls Online, which I thought was crazy. But it was just so much fun to be able to do whatever you wanted, and that game didn't really hold your hand too much. Like now in Skyrim, if you attack someone that you need for something, they won't die. They'll just, you know, fall to their knee, breathe hard for a few seconds, and stand back up. And I feel like it spoon feeds the player a little bit, whereas before, like in Elder Scrolls 3, if you killed someone important, it would warn you, it would say you might want to load a pass save because you just broke the game, narratively. But, you know, if you beat the game, the storyline, and went back and killed whoever you wanted, it was fine. Like I remember, there's this one character that was really important to the story, but I had beaten the main story, but he had a full set of Daedric armor, and in Elder Scrolls 3, the Daedric armor was badass. But I just went back and I murdered him, and that's what I wore for the rest of the game. It was a lot of fun, and it was my first open world RPG experience, and I absolutely adored it, and it's what made me buy an Xbox 360, not even for like Halo. I bought an Xbox 360 because I wanted to play Oblivion, and I remember booting it up and seeing that intro where like it just circles over the Imperial City and just being blown away by that game, as buggy as it was and as ugly as it is, because sometimes I look back at gameplay and I'm like, holy shit, that was an ugly game. It was my first RPG, and I love it, and I love Elder Scrolls games so much. I'm a big Fallout fan too, but I will always love Elder Scrolls just a little bit more because it introduced me to open world RPGs. And yeah, I mean, I still play other RPGs like Diablo and stuff like that, which that was my first true RPG, and Diablo 2 was my first game that I really got into to the point where it was a problem. But yeah, that's what I wanted to ramble about today. And yeah, tell me about the first RPG that you guys played. What the I feel like I can't walk anywhere in this game without there being like a random body unceremoniously discarded somewhere. Like, at least get her out of the walkway. Put her better. Now she's not as obvious. Look how nice this looks. This looks really calming, serene. You see the chicken walking by, the snow's falling, the lantern is glowing brightly. There's a dead woman, but there's also this really nice, you know, in here, like, it's just not as obvious and in your face. But there's also a dead woman in with the firewood. There's a dead woman in the firewood. You're a terrible guard. Anyway, guys, that's it for this cat. Why is he naked? Whatever. That's it for this Casual Friday. Let me know what your favorite RPGs are. We'll talk about them in the comments below. Talk to me about it on Twitter. I don't care. I actually do want to hear from you guys because I love talking about this kind of stuff. And, yeah, with no context, it just looks weird that there's a naked dead guy in the background of this. But whatever. This is going to be the outro for the video. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.